Morning of day 8. Kind of fuzzy from the night before. Trying to recuperate. Still a lot of stress going on. I woke up to a loud scream and knocking on the door. I didn't know what was going on. I ignored it. It seemed to keep on going and going. And then I realized that it wasn't going to stop. I heard this pounding on the door. So I went downstairs, grabbed the 12 gauge, opened up the door to hear a woman screaming, "Dan! Dan, where are you? Dan, where are you?" I looked over and it was Richie Rich, the guy that lived next door to me, who didn't take care of his property, who had abandoned it because he was some rich kid because his father was a home builder. It was his girlfriend, Victoria. She had showed up out of the blue. I said, "Dan's not here. What do you want?" "I'm looking for Dan. I need help. I don't have no food, no water. Can you help me?" I told her, "No, get out of here. You're nothing but trouble." Dan's nowhere to be seen. He hasn't been seen in weeks prior to this attack. "But I need to find him. Can you help me?" I said, "No, get out." Just then I cocked the 12 gauge into the loaded position. And she saw that I meant business. I wasn't going to take shit from anybody. She then left. I then closed the door and watched her leave. Didn't know what was going to be happening after that. Molly came running downstairs. "What's going on?" I said, it's Victoria, Dan's girlfriend. She showed up out of the blue. She's looking for him." She said, "Well, what are we going to do now?" I'm like, "Nothing. We're not going to do anything about it. She might come back, but I'm not going to help her." I walked it over to everyone in the group. I told her that Dan's girlfriend had just showed up out of the blue looking for food and water, and to by no means help her or let her in. She was to suffer. We weren't going to help pieces of trash like that. These were people that known for doing drugs, having parties, caused a lot of problems in our neighborhood. Why would I want to invite more of that the same? Everyone piped over, said, "Okay, no problem, we got you." Later on in the day, I heard a bunch of commotion outside. So I met up with everyone on the walkie and said, "What's going on?" They said there's a bunch of these guys that just showed up knocking on doors. I said, "What do they want?" They don't know. They didn't get to their doors yet, but they saw a group of about 5 guys going door to door knocking on the door. I said, "Well, maybe they could be military or police." And they said, "Well, how would you know?" I said, "I don't know." I couldn't quite be sure about it, as I was still frazzled by everything that's been going on. I told everyone to hang tight and not answer the door unless they really absolutely had to. Just then I heard a knock on Mitch's door. There was a bunch of those guys asking him questions. He apparently didn't get a hold of me on the walkie and responded. So he ended up answering the door. They asked him a lot of stuff I couldn't really make out, just demanding a lot of stuff, yelling and screaming. And Mitch didn't know what to do at this point. He seemed confused. And all I remember hearing one of the guys says, "We'll be back, don't you worry." It was just then I heard the knock on my door. We didn't answer. I had the guns ready to go. They knocked again, and they knocked again. "Open up! We know you're in there! Open up! We know there's people in there! You will let us in! You will give us what we want! And we will be back!" Just then I just realized we were in deep shit. Miley and I hunkered down to let it ride out. We didn't know what these guys were going to do. We unfortunately had to not be concerned with our neighbors at this point and not have any walkie-talkie connection with them in fear that they might hear where we are. When the day had come near to an end, I gathered everyone together to find out what was going on. Nobody wanted to meet. Nobody responded. I knew we were in big trouble. Just then, I heard another knock on the door. "Dan! Dan's Victoria, let me in! Dan!" This time, it was Victoria again. She had shown up. I had enough. I grabbed the shotgun and I was ready to take matters in my own hands. I was going to wreck her in the situation like in The Walking Dead. Just before I could open the door, a loud gunshot went off. Bang! Her head blew up in front of me. Guts splattered everywhere. It was that group. They took her out. They yelled, "We will be back. We don't care who we have to take out. You will let us in. You will give us what we want." Out of the fear, I shut the door and grabbed Molly, and we retreated.